Healing these reactions, these distortions, the band-aids, to alleviate all the band-aids, all the fake fronts, and let it all just fade away. The first thing we have to do is learn to accept the sirens in our head, these voices, these offerings. So what I've done in working my way through this is that I say that I love Ironbark Farm, where I dream for this village. So I've worked on getting out there and taking care of the land, even if it means just maintaining and cleaning it, and just be busy every day in the doing of that love. Same with my relationship with Fiona. I put my energy into loving her, not by saying it, though I do say it, as in be supportive, do what I can to help, to alleviate some of the workload that she carries, because she goes out to work and she brings them bacon home, and I look after things here, but she still carries a lot of responsibilities because she loves this dream, this Kindom dream, this village dream that we live for. And she labors for that as I labor for this. So I'll make sure that I make meals. I make sure that I help in cleaning up and doing things and whatever else I can do, because I was brought up very badly, screwed up by my mother, bless her heart. My mother would fuss. You don't do it that way, bang, bang, bang. No, do it like this. Eat more, you haven't eaten enough, eat more. I love my mother. I forgive, truly forgive deep down whatever's happened. But the creativity, being busy in the creativity, is to be that sun that shines as a constant over the dream of life that you live. So with the Kindom Village dream, I wake up and go to bed and even when I make these videos and pretty much everything else I do all day, even till rest, and when I get up the next morning, it's that constant sun that's shining over this dream of life. Sharing whatever I can and give whatever I can freely, unconditionally. I don't do it as a form of ownership. Though I'm responsible, I act as a custodian or a wisdom keeper to make sure that the dream is not hijacked and turned into something else that was never meant to be. Because the goal of Kindom is to get us to return back to that natural way, in an undefined way, where we children brought up by nature again. And when no one's looking over the fence anymore, what someone else has got to help to compensate what they lack. So keep breaking this down. So the creativity is very important. So we are all the bees to the colony, to the hive. Now, while that's happening, the percolation of all that stuff will come up. And you welcome it. It's very important to welcome it. Literally to embrace the devil. To say thank you for these offers. Or whatever it is you're offering. Because that's what that reaction is. Those disturbances are. Is to slow everything down enough, to stay calm, to get back to that peace and calm, stay calm enough to allow these things to come up. So you can look at it. And now you're Ulysses on the mast. You're looking at the sirens. You're looking at the offerings of the devil. When you say thank you, because you can see the bigger picture of where that would lead you if you were to follow that program, those scripts again. And then at the same time, you just go back to the creativity of the dream of life that you're living for in the here and now. So I'll get back on the road and keep cleaning up the road. I'll keep cleaning up whatever on the land. I'll go and whippersnip and do whatever I can, just maintain things. Build little things with fear as we can until as other people arrive, so we can expand things. And as fictional dollars expand, we can expand. We just expand. But we're not living in, I hope, please, I'm going to hope, I wish this was that. We don't sit there biting our nails about anything. We live in that true peace and calm. Busy as the ants to the colony. Living for the greater good of what we say we love. And be doing that, be showing up that way. While remaining vigilance and discernment. Because there are people who want this, but they're not prepared to face all the stuff, and they want to keep playing out their stuff, which make them loners or self-centered, or they only participate a little bit. Now, I'm not saying we should sit in judgment of these people either, but you've got to really be smart about how you pick your friends, because we don't want to recreate all the other kind of conflicts, which is already what we're trying to leave from the system. We don't want to bring that system life into this life here and now. So we have to be very conscious of where and with who and how do we apply this creativity of our real expression. Now, when we are busy in the creativity, we don't own anything. We do it for the greater joy, because that's what raises it up. And in that trust, in that certainty of that bigger picture that we hold of the vision of what we hold of the dream, we magnetize it, we draw everything to it. Now, that's not a reaction anymore, because we're not inviting conflict in. We're in the peace and calm, drawing in the peace and calm of others, and the power of their lives and the power of our lives to just expand the Kindom village dream. Now, that second phase is very important, because if you can slow everything down enough so we're not in the scripts of performing the band-aids, because it only usually happens when we're with other people, because that's how we show up and how we play it out with each other. Now, we might practice all this in the private life, in our own imagining, but we have to be conscious enough to notice when these things are coming up, because if you look carefully, you'll see the disturbance, the fractures, the shattering of the peace and calm underneath it, because we're actually not in the peace and calm. So as they arise while we're busy in the creativity of loving life, doing things we say we love, which requires sacrifice. You've got to be able to have the confidence to sacrifice, to stop living as a spoon-fed slave, reliant on slave world. Because the goal is to not perpetuate that. Sure, we're still in it. We don't want to be of it anymore, but we'll still work with it, because everything's so compromised. So water's compromised, resources are compromised, well, numerous tools are compromised. There are so many facets of building the infrastructure of a village that relies on the third parties and all those lost in white collars and blue collars and slave laborers and etc. So we've got to be able to use the system to get out of the system without bringing all that band-aid stuff with us and recreate it amongst us in a group, in a community, in a family, a larger family. But we're willing to have to slave labor in the system, but we do it out of sacrifice, a service for the greater dream. So when we work and bring money and we want to give that into a group, this is not cultish. This is just the love to transition what's compromising everything, to build the infrastructure, the buildings, the roads, the waterways, to build everything so the abundance and the magnificence has all been restored. So that nature of that life, that land that we're recreating the village on, can sustain forever all the families that live in that village, and make that a living example for others to be inspired by, to create one as well. And some of us may go along to help others in building another village down the line, because this is what we want, to see all this spread all over earth, because this really is the remedy, the way out of this mess. But you have to be confident to face the sirens, the voices in your head, and look at the scripts and how we practice so many of these fairy tales as little kids, because we grew up with them, heaps and heaps of them, all band-aid scripts, to try and manage the percolation from overtaking our ability to maintain control over all that chaos that's still resonating through us, of us, all around us. So welcome the sirens, embrace them, say thank you, recognize what it is they're offering, get to see the deeper aspects of the threads of these scripts, these voices in our head. And once you've comprehended it, you don't need to react, you don't need to put yourself down. This is not a judgment. You're not here to be something showed off for others and worrying about how you fit in. You get past all this uncertainty, and because you're amongst other people who truly have that eternal love, that compassion, nurturing and respect, as long as you maintain that full responsibility to heal. So when you see it all, it may last 30 seconds, it may last a few minutes, it might go for half an hour. But at some point, you just got to say, thank you. I'm going back to this now. I'm going to go back to living the real dream of life that I really love. And start ignoring all the other stuff in your own way. But no reaction, no repression, no running away from anything. Get to learn to find that peace and calm in the here and now, and let that transcend whatever chaos or fiction is on offer. Now, we practice this 24/7. We start to replace the practice of the 24/7 of the fake Band-Aid traumatic lifestyles we've been living, that we've been watching all around us, where couples argue and bicker, where people break up and then turns into court cases, where we have all kinds of drama queens and drama kings and all kinds of shit playing out. We're not going to get caught up in all this anymore. We've got to let it all go and just maintain the peace and calm of that full responsibility to be the sun that shines. So we live as we breathe. We live as nature creates abundance and magnificence. We live as the sun shines in the here and now of eternal life. They're just words. This has nothing to do with spirituality or consciousness or being a cult. It's simply being fully responsible to be a gift of life, a part of life, to live the way all of nature lives. Not the disturbances we've done to nature and how they're reacting, but the real peace and calm, how nature really lives. And you can perceive that. So we are Ulysses on the mast, busy in the creativity, with discipline and focus on the big picture of community village life at a local level where everyone knows each other. We're not amongst strangers. We don't have to give up who we really are in our true power base, because each of us is the judge. Each of us is the power of everything that is now represented as prosthetics in the system. We're all capable of being doctors. We're all capable of being everything if we allow the senses to just merge with all of nature, because that's the purpose of being children brought up by nature. They're expanding the consciousness, the real one, through the fabric of all of life, because all of the conscious, all of life is our consciousness. And the more we expand it, the more as we need it, when we need it, it's there right now, here and now. We don't have to hold it and store it and package it and rank and file it and label it. We don't need to do any of this. Again, it's overcoming that distrust, overcoming that uncertainty. As we need what it is that we dream for, that does no harm to life, does no harm to anyone, it's there as it's required. In all the challenges that I went through with the 20 years love for life and having assassination attempts and kidnapping Fiona, and there were just so many other, being followed, black cars out in the street, people knocking on the windows late at night, death threats, numerous death threats to us. I mean, numerous threats to take our children away from. It just went on and on. That's all in the system. It's all part of that chaos where everyone's lost in it. Doesn't matter who's manipulating what. You've got to learn to find that true peace and calm, so we're not reacting and then formulating band-aids, which is what we do. We go to this, I've got to work, I've got to get money, get a lease, get land title deed. Oh, it's my home. You've got no security there. It can be taken away from you as quickly as it was given to you. The whole system is built on everything that isn't peace and calm. The whole of the system is rooted in uncertainty, distrust, fear, complacency, apathy, denial, greed, selfishness, arrogance, ignorance, ridicule, abuse. It just goes on and on. There's so many of them. To allow that real peace and calm to become present to us as we address the voices rising up out of us, the sirens on the island, because the goal is we don't want to stay on the island anymore. We don't want to be shipwrecked. We want to return to our vessel part of the village and recreating a real village life, probably with mostly strangers. We're going to have to build these villages out of amongst us all who are strangers. But we will know, because of the good heart, we'll know that there is no disturbance that's going to play and dominate the relationships. The loneliness, the boredom, the selfishness, the feeling sorry on sitting there living in misery, all this goes away. But the dream to will to face the sirens' voices while you're busy in the creativity of living the life that you love. And I'm in a marriage, so I love my wife, I love my marriage, I love my children. I may have lost my way along the way over those years having to learn this, but I love my children, I love my family. I love this man's life. All the things that have been done to us, to our bodies, everything, all the pain, are not mine. They're not ours. We don't own them. They're just the imprints of other people's intentions resonating on our vessel. We didn't dream for these things. We might have later on, as we become sick, playing out these distortions, and we will invite more of these upon us. Sure, we are responsible. But all the sexual abuse that was done to this vessel, all the screaming and fighting and violence through the early childhood, so many other things that were done, I have found peace and forgiveness in all of this. Truth, peace, and forgiveness, not words. I just see that all these things that are still resonating on the body are not mine. It is not my intention. I don't own them. So as I'm working through the creativity and I'm experiencing the different pains in the vessel and other distortions, I know they're not mine. I just stay focused on the creativity of what I love and maintain that discipline and just do it in whatever capacity I can offer. Now, while that's going on, I'm also listening to what's coming up. Oh, thanks. I'm looking at it. Okay. Good on you. I get back to my creativity. Real peaceful. And that's how it dissolves. And gradually, they just fade away. Because you're so busy 24/7 in the creativity of what you say you love. Because you're fully responsible. Because that's what love is. Full responsibility. And that's how we heal. That's how we bring real peace back. There's no point waiting around for someone's magic wand to come down and just wipe it all out for us. We may as well each of us just do it anyway. And if there was some great Messiah to come along, he probably will come along amongst groups and meet people in villages and want to sit down and relax in the hammock. He's got nothing to do because everything's already handled. It's all been done. So, in a nutshell, we stop playing out the distortions. We stop playing out distrust, uncertainty, fear, etc., etc. Because we no longer play it out in our own vessel because we found that real peace and calm. We didn't find it. We just allowed it to be there again because we let go of everything that was distorting it. And that grows as we nurture and as more we practice the creativity. I live for a Kindom village. I live to create homes for other families to come and live peacefully, to be with our children and their children. And we all start really doing this. This is not talking. This is serious intent. I mean, I've had people come into my life recently. I've had to move them on very quick, really fast, because they weren't ready. They're just not ready to handle this full responsibility. They're too busy in their scripts with the self-centeredness and the self-obsession. And the I, me, and mine, what's in it for me? That, in fact, Fiona and I now can see it all in hours, and people that may come think they might be able to stay a few weeks, they're gone in hours or within a day, they're out. And we try and set it up so they just move on. That's the best way to do it. And we're still learning how to do this. We're still learning to use the power of that peace and calm for everything. But when people come and you meet people, and you know they're sincere, and you can tell that they live for that real peace and calm. They don't want to play out this stuff. It just works. Now, this 27 acres we live here on Ironbark Farm, it's a full responsibility. I don't abandon it. I'm on the ball with it every day, do the best I can. When others come along, they want to join in, maintain that responsibility, they take it on too. We share the workload. And that frees us up as we manage to stay on top of everything. Like we don't, we keep the place clean and tidy while we're building the plan. Like we're using a permaculture kind of design, not as only thing, but to see where the food forests are going to go, where the waterways are going to go, where the keyline systems are all going to go. So we can hear water moving around this property, millions and millions and millions of litres of water, drinking water, moving on this property. So you always hear the sound of a stream nearby. Amongst this paradise of like green fields and botanical gardens and wooden bridges over streams that we've made, roadways and tracks and natural homes and natural sheds as best we can. Some that we may use the system infrastructure like colour-bond sheds, and which we're going to do, which we are doing. But the goal is to raise this land up to be an absolute living paradise, because we live for the paradise dream. And that becomes a living example. And others can come and see this without any words being spoken. Look at these people. They don't need third parties in their life. They don't need third-party intermeddlers, interceders, interlopers. So there's no government there. There's no commerce there. No banking. There's no ownership. There's no military. There's no police. Because the whole community is the living peace and calm, the real man of peace. And being that, the head being empty, there's no voices in there. We are capable of dealing with whatever needs to be dealt with at the time when it needs to be dealt with, and be seen to be doing it. And doing it. We are doing it. People need to experience this, to get past the complacency, get past this doubt, get past this denial and rejection and all the other things that when I used to talk to people about Kindom and community, people used to say to me, "Oh, wow, that's a beautiful dream, but come on, mate, pat me on the back, pat me on the shoulder. Come on, let's get back to reality now." They'll call it utopia or whatever. We've got to get past all this. We have to get past all of this. We have to be seen to putting our life energy into the Kindom dream, because that is Ulysses on the mast, living for the big picture dream he lives for. He doesn't want to be shipwrecked and lost his way, where he led his whole family and his whole life and all his descendants to be lost on that island too. So look at it as one huge garbage tip, massive pile of human garbage. That's what we've all become. And we've got to pull ourselves out of that tip, out of that wreckage, and rebuild our lives. And that's where the Ulysses and the model in moving past the island of wreckage, going past it. But you need a big picture dream, willing to live and walk that talk, live it, so the village lives it, while we maintain the responsibility that if anything else still percolating coming up, that we will be peaceful enough to just look at it, accept it, and just get back to what we're doing, so it just fades away. We don't feed it anymore. So get back to planting seeds, working with animals, planting in the garden, working with children, playing, even having social time to celebrate and have fun. That's what the remedy is. There's no gold seal going to come along. We're not going to get magic gold stars over our fort because we've done it. We're naturally being it. And that's a living example. And then as we breathe out and spread that, it starts to change elsewhere too, because people also are going to be breathing in what we're putting out. As I must be breathing in what others have put out there that's helped me with the Love for Life work and all its insights. That's it. Call us, ironbarkfarm.com, ironbarkfarm.org, which will currently divert to loveforlife.com.au. That's FORLOVEFORLIFE, loveforlife.com.au. And that's what we're using for now as the working model of this village life, creating this village life. And we have the Facebook walls. I'll put them in the about section of this video and the other Ulysses videos. The rest is just, it's not even talking anymore. It's just getting on and just living it and being it and doing it 24/7. Wish you all the very best. Arthur Kristen here. Bye-bye.